Hello, in this tutorial series we've been setting up Unity's XR interaction toolkit towards the goal of making an escape room. In this little short tutorial I'll set up teleporting. So by default in the interaction toolkit, the complete XR origin setup does have a teleportation provider and a teleportation kind of ray set on the right controller, the right hand controller. But you might have noticed in your console there's an error. By default, Unity has not set up the interaction layer that they want as teleport. And if you don't know how to do that, we will set it up in this process. So there's two ways to fix this. One is to go up to Edit, Project Settings, and then if you choose XR Interaction Toolkit, there is a little twirl that you can open for interaction layers, and Unity's just looking for user layer 31 to be labeled teleport. So we could type that in right there. There's another way that you can add interaction layers when you are working with a game object too, and I'll show you that in a moment. But if we type it here, teleport, then we're halfway there. The next thing that you've got to do is teleporting is sort of a two-part process. The first part is that your player rig is going to have a teleportation provider on it, and it would expect to also have some kind of ray interactor. This one has on our right hand a teleport interactor, which is a ray interactor coupled with a line renderer and a line visual to give it its look. And then the last thing we need is for there to be valid places to teleport. So by default, the XR origin rig does have all the things it needs, but it doesn't have anywhere to teleport. So the ray always looks red, like invalid, nowhere to teleport. So the way you fix this is you click your floor and you add a component to it. So we're going to go over to the inspector on our floor object and hit add component and start typing tele, and by the time you get to about that far, you will see that we've got the teleportation anchor or the teleportation area as a choice. In this case, I want to use teleportation area, which means let's take this whole entire object, this big giant green plane, and make anywhere on it valid for teleporting. A teleportation anchor, by contrast, is designed to just make one small location teleport valid. So if we just wanted to have 4 teleport zones, you know, one right in front of our cube, one right in front of our cylinder, one right in front of our sphere, but you're not ever allowed to teleport way over here in the corner. You're never allowed to teleport back to the center. We would do that by adding individual teleport anchors. But in our case, I'm going to do add component teleportation area. And this just comes in as a component. Its defaults are more or less okay, except for the following. The first is the interaction layer mask. And this is where we refer to that teleport layer that we added just a moment ago. If you didn't want to add it in the settings like we did, you could add it here. You could pull down this word default and choose add layer. And this in the inspector window lets you add a named user layer as well. But in our case, we already did it. So then we're going to go back to interaction layer mask and we're going to click default, and now we're going to say nothing. And then we're going to click nothing and choose teleport. And you might think, why didn't we just choose teleport? Well, if you choose anything else, it starts to add, you know, it's like this and that. So we want to clear all of our check marks by hitting nothing and then choose only teleport. What this is, incidentally, if you're used to other Unity mechanics and you're like, wait, what is this layer mask thing? It's a little bit like using tags or other layers that Unity has as a way of sort of saying only the things that are on this layer can be interacted with by the XR interaction toolkit. So in this case, there is a teleport layer. This is going to be separate from our game objects that might be grabbed or might be keys that you put into a socket or something like that. So this is only looking for teleport-based interactions. So now that that's set up, our ray should no longer just be red, invalid all the time. The other things that we might want to do while we're here is I like to have a custom reticle, which the XR Interaction Toolkit does provide us one. This is like going to be on the floor to sort of show that, you know, it's like a user interface element that shows that we're about to teleport to that location. So under our assets, samples, XR Interaction Toolkit, and then our version, and then starter assets, there is a prefabs folder. And there's a teleport folder inside of that. And if you double click on it, you will find there's a directional teleport reticle. So I want to put that right here in the custom reticle object. And the last thing I want to change is here where it says match direction. We're going to click that. That's going to allow us not only to teleport to a place, but with our right joystick, we'll actually be able to turn the reticle around and decide what way we're facing when we come out of the teleport. So okay, let's test this. All right, here I am in headset. My teleport ray is on my right hand, and if I hit forward on the joystick, I get the teleport ray. If I move while I'm holding the joystick forward, if I kind of move it around to the right or left, I am changing the directionality of that reticle, and wherever I point, that's where I'm going to be when I let go. And there you go. So not only can I teleport to a place, I can also change the direction I'm going to be when I end up there. I'd also like to show you this in our device simulator. As everything is in the device simulator, it's slightly harder to work with, but that's okay. We're going to, in this case, I have popped in pretty low to the ground, so you can actually use Q and E to change your height on the device simulator. I think that's because I still have my headset on my head, so it's pulling my height information from the headset at runtime. The way I would take control of the right controller is to either hit Y once or to tab around till I get there. And so now I'm controlling the right controller. And remember that forward on our right joystick was our teleport ray. And as you can see on the device simulator controls interface there, forward would be W. So now I'm holding W on the keyboard and I'm getting that same interface, and I can even do S and A to sort of test that reticle rotation as well. When I let go, I teleport to the location and I can be looking whatever direction I've turned. So we can mock this up in the device simulator without having to have a headset or while we're developing on a Mac.